And there I am, walking like a hurricane. So, yes. Let's see if we can get some people in here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. We might get some, okay. So, let me see if I can, bring in, bring in our co-host, our beautiful co-host. Yes, it. I'll put the link in I'll put the link in, I put it in the private chat, but I'll put it in the public chat too. So now everybody, now everybody, we've got some very interesting news, and that you know what this is all about. You know what this is all about. We're gonna delve really deep into this because we need to see whether or not if this is kind of like some Mr. Burns level bullshit where he tries to put a a dome over the country, but or if it's something else or slash different. If it's something, because we've never really discovered this. I mean, like, it's a crazy notion, crazy fucking notion, and how so many people about what like about this. I've never heard such a fucking obscurity, or it could be considered as obscurity. But let's see if we can get into this. Right here, we got Celeste here. How's it
Hi,
going?
everybody. I don't know who, probably no
Uh,
one's watching, but whatever.
even
You never know.
you want to know something? This is even in live stuff when we both are in the in a band together, and I'm just like saying, just pretend like nobody's just do your thing as if nobody's watching. Who cares? That runs what you can say.
Mm-hmm.
If like you're not restrained or held to such to kind of like a microscope. How are you doing today?
I'm better. Thanks for to this walker, this little thing right here. I was able to barely change my sheets and even take a shower after about a week and a half of not being able to. And that felt really, really good. So I feel, because I just felt like I was like drowning in my own filth, it's so gross. So I just couldn't handle it. I'm
Uh,
like, you know what, I got to do something about this. So yeah.
well, we're gonna cover this dome stuff here going on.
Ooh, good one.
Uh, so we're gonna go to one that's in a straight outlet because we want the audience to see
Hmm.
that there
Oh, did
is.
you see the video that Martina sent to me about it possibly being a surveillance?
Send that, put that in the
Okay. I
chat.
don't,
Like,
there's a lot of, just so you know, though, there's so much crap out there. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible or it can't be used for that, but I just don't, you know, I don't know. I then again, it's good to question everything, right? But
Yeah.
I don't, I'm a little reluctant to jump on that bandwagon too, because there's a lot of pillars online, a lot of people black pilling and like doomsday people online. So you just got to use your own discernment and do your own research and not, you know, take it at face.
Whoa. I'm guessing she said don't take it at face value, but that was bizarre.
Let me see. Okay, I'm sending it right now.
Air. Okay.
Did you get it?
Yes. Yes.
Should go
Yes, I
through.
did.
Okay, great.
Anywho, as we continue, we'll touch. So we're gonna touch on various we're gonna touch on various angles of this.
Mm-hmm.
First, we're gonna try out a mainstream outlet, but then we'll try your we'll play your TikTok game and then but then there are some other things that I spotted that might be interesting here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into this do little doohickey right here. Okay, you want to know what I've actually realized that nobody is talking about?
What's the
They're saying, well, this is going to cost crap tons of money, this, that, and the third.
He just got
However,
trillions of dollars from Saudi Arabia or Qatar, wherever, or UAE. I don't know which country, but one of those.
well, yes. However, I do not believe, and I could be wrong here. I don't believe that that's what it's for. That Saudi Arabia deal sounds like more like trying to get us back onto the gold standard, because
Yeah.
that's where all the metals are. And so what I honestly do see though, who what who does who but I'll trickle in some clues here on who I think is behind this. Who do you think oh, we'll put this here. Who do you think who started Space Force?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, and who's in his cabinet? Who's
Elon Musk.
Yeah, so I honestly believe that this is going to be Musk funded from Space Force, because only something like that, some like military level stuff, high end military level stuff with like access to all the resources and funds available. The richest man on the planet here we're talking about can enable stuff like this. It sounds absolutely insane, but I honestly think that this is this is a Space Force that's going to be behind all this.
Yeah, I could see that.
And no one is saying that. No one is saying that to my knowledge. Because I understand all of this because like, first of all, Space Force, the Space Force logo looks like the Star Trek logo, if anybody has paid attention. And
do you have a photo of it?
Yeah, Yes, we actually do. So
Okay, why don't you upload it so we can see it?
let's look at this side by side comparison here. Okay. Oh shoot! Come on. I want to see full screen. Now, here I'll share it here right now. Here. Sure. Hold on. Yeah. Oops. And let's check this puppy out. No. Where is it? Present. My apologies, everybody, but why don't we scope this right here? What do you think? Where is it?
Oh.
Check that.
United States Space Force, Department of Starfleet Command, United Federation of Planets. Ooh.
Yeah, this. So on the left, this is that's Space Force.
Mm-hmm.
On the right, that's Star Trek.
Whoa. Yeah, I could see what you're saying.
So I honestly, and one of the things that Star Trek had was invented was believe it or not force fields. So I wonder if this is like some force field technology that we're going to be having here.
Mm-hmm.
And only of Trump and Musk can only conjure up some level kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
That. I honestly think this is going to be on the backs of Space Force. That this is a Space Force operation more than anything. And you heard it here first, people. You heard it here first. So let's see. Yeah, let's get back to this.
Our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term.
Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans.
This sounds like a lot of sci-fi horse shit, but
it does. It sounds like I was just gonna say, it sounds like something from Star Trek or.
And that's why this is exactly why I said I honestly think that this is the brains of Space Force.
Mm-hmm.
What else could it be? But it is crazy, especially a Golden Dome. Let's see how it makes the whole.
What's that gonna be like? I was kind of like, I didn't know what to make of it. On one hand, it sounds cool, but on another hand, it's like, I don't know. I mean, but you know what he said in his press conference, he was describing how Reagan, and I didn't know this about Reagan, but Reagan wanted to implement one. And one thing that Ronald Reagan did say is that the only way humanity would come together is if there was an alien invasion, meaning if we had alien invasion. I'm not talking, about the term like illegal aliens or anything. I'm talking about real, actual people, for extraterrestrials or outer, people from outer space or outer terrain invading us. Like that's, he was talking about it then. So I almost wonder if they know something, if they know about something that they can't tell us yet, but I don't know.
Now I will share this after this, because there can be a bit of a hypothesis here, another hypothesis, and hopefully this isn't the case by anything whatsoever, and it is what you're saying. But let's check this out, and then I'll play another video here, and just I pray to God that it isn't the case. But
leading aerospace and defense company Lockheed Martin could be a major contributor to this project. Their chief operating officer, Frank St. John, joins me now. Frank, good morning to you. So what are the capabilities that Lockheed has that can help with this?
Morning, Carly. As the nation's leading provider of missile defense systems, Lockheed Martin brings fielded proven capabilities in space, airborne, and surface sensing, as well as interceptors to defeat threats and command and control capabilities to integrate all of that together.
And this Golden Dome could ultimately block nuclear missiles shot from on the ground and in space as well?
What did I say? This might be the works of Space Force, and I didn't even see this.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Yes, and there are, significant analysis of the existing and growing threat that have created the demand for this system to be fielded now. And so we are bringing those combat-proven capabilities, as well as working with all of industry and all of the technology companies to knit together this capability that will defend against those threats that you mentioned, as well as cruise missiles and intermediate ballistic missiles and other threats as well.
Well, it's fascinating, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the robotic arms that are operating behind you and people walking past. So clearly all systems go at Lockheed Martin this morning, and I imagine that this Golden Dome and building it and creating it would be a job creator as well.
It is.
Yeah.
And the work of deterrence is a 24/7 operation, and you see that in process here. And yes, there's going to be jobs in California, Colorado, Alabama, Arkansas, New Jersey, New York, all over the country. This is going to be a system that's built domestically here in the United States. And we're really proud to take a leading role in bringing President Trump's vision to reality.
Okay, so let's talk about how some of our adversaries are feeling about the president's announcement yesterday. Chinese Foreign Ministry put out this statement this morning saying this undermines global strategic balance and stability. China expresses serious concern over this. We urge the United States to abandon the development and deployment of a global missile defense system as soon as possible. This is a defensive technology, so how do you feel about that and where they're coming from here?
Well, then that means that I would imagine that the United States would have basically all immunities from any threats of an NWO.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially if China's upset, huh? If they're losing their shit over this, because they had their hooks into this country
For
and that's
decades.
Yeah, their tentacles, I should say.
By the way, YouTube, this is ginger ale. I'm not drinking alcohol on air, okay? Calm your fucking tits, YouTube.
Yeah.
But continue.
No, I just said my piece. No, I think no, they had their tentacles on this. They've been buying up a lot of our farmland. They've been buying up a lot of our land, actually. I've
Yeah,
even wondered
BlackRock.
if they were behind Paradise, California, where my family lives,
Yeah.
and if they were responsible for those fires.
Isn't BlackRock a is that a CCP organization?
That's a good question. It's something I am not the right person to ask for about that. I'm not. I don't know the background behind it, but it wouldn't shock me. I could.
Well,
I'm willing to bet.
what we've seen historically is that the thing that leads to conflict is a lack of deterrence.
Yeah.
And so our belief, along with the administration, is that having strong deterrence is the best way to deter conflict. And so we're looking forward to partnering with General Gutlein and the administration to roll this out. And
Something tells me, now let me tell you this. This could be a mixed bag here. Something tells me that first of all, the United States is a global trade center.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if there's no this is going to sound like an asshole thing to say, but I wonder if if we're in if what's in the works is to work with the what should I say? How should we call these? The like the ones with the most universal wealth. I would say because I wonder if we're going to have limited amount of partners and not global partners anymore. We are just in trades with a few nations.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like Saudi Arabia, I can see.
Mhm.
Italy, I can see. Maybe England a little bit.
Mhm.
Just the ones that have
Canada, I think, is interested in this too. And he was talking about that. But Canada, there's talk. I mean, I was watching Jordan Clark earlier. He posted a video saying that there's a lot of Canadians, like on Google and stuff, that are saying that they noticed that I don't know if it's their country code but that they're actually under the US. And I'm not saying that Canada's suddenly part of the US, but it's interesting that it's being connected to our country now. It's almost like our
so are they proclaiming to not be part of the crown anymore, and they're proclaiming to be like the 52nd state?
Possibly. Yeah.
Ew.
And I know that Trump hinted that they are interested in this dome too. And they want it over their country as well.
Sucks to be you, Green Day. So much for fucking moving over there, you stupid fucking dopes.
Yeah.
Don't want to be part of a MAGA agenda. Well, you're part of it.
Yeah.
Tough fucking
Well, they
shit.
can always move to England. That's just the perfect place for them.
Well, then they'll have no future.
Yeah, but it's better than the MAGA agenda, according to them.
Sure, to have economic independence from all these freaking global powers is a bad thing. You know what? Like, to anybody who still thinks that, even if they're in the chat or in the comment section of future reference, anyone who thinks that, you deserve to be a fucking slave. I'm sorry. You're that fucking retarded. You're that lazy. You want to It's like I'm not saying that anyone is, I'm above or we're above you or anything like that, but it's
Mhm.
just but it's just like if your morals, if you have no if you do not want to put in any effort into into self maintenance or self sustaining of any kind, and you don't value your own life, why should anyone value your life if you don't even value your own? That's what I'm asking. If you're already a walking, talking corpse, why should you be treated like you're something that deserves that's living? And that sounds like a genocidal, narcissistic, non-empathic thing to say, an inhumane thing to say, but it's but I mean, it's just you got to be proactive with your life, otherwise someone is going to take over your life.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if that's the way you want, fine, whatever. But
Yeah.
that comes with consequences, is what I'm saying. I just said it in a very harsh, brash way, but
Mhm.
that shit comes with consequences.
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I want to see if this is truly about, if we're going to further our independence. This is more like because he doesn't want globalism. He
Mhm.
wants international trade
Mhm.
with the higher powers. So I'm gonna
Well,
ask the
see, the thing
card.
with tariffs, our country was always paying tariffs out. Like other countries would charge us for tariffs, but for some reason we never collected tariffs, not after 1913. And apparently before that time there was a lot of wealth. Like this country was very wealthy when it was, when our currency was on gold, and we
Oh
didn't
yeah,
have income tax. And
no,
yeah, and it was because of tariffs, and Trump wants to bring us back to that.
that dates to his grandpappy's time.
Yes. I didn't even know about it, to be honest. I mean, that's how great our educational system is in teaching us our history, our true history.
Yeah, you want to know something as
I
a
mean, I'm
trick?
not saying the other stuff didn't happen, but the only thing they talk about these days is, oh, this country was founded on racism and imperialism, and I'm not okay, and I'm not saying there wasn't wars between the indigenous and the I'm not saying colonization wasn't a reality, but it wasn't that black and white, and a lot of that stuff came about, what it wasn't from the very beginning. I mean, yes, a lot of native people unfortunately died, but that was not out of anyone being spiteful towards them, because in the beginning the settlers and the natives actually got along quite well, or at least they were cordial. They coexisted. I mean, some of them were at war, but that was because it was brutal back then, and the tribes were brutal too. So it was just a very dog eat dog world. But when they would get together, they largely got along okay, or at least they coexisted. Um, and they traded, and so but unfortunately we had diseases they didn't have immunity to, and that was a tragedy. That was an absolute tragedy. But that wasn't anyone like trying to kill them out and out. It'd be like if I had a deadly disease and you came in contact with me and you had no immunity to it, you had no
exposure.
Exactly. Like, that's not me deliberately killing you. That's just an unfortunate circumstance.
Oh yeah, yeah, but they paint it as they just took over their land and genocided everybody just out of
Yeah,
spite.
yeah. That's how our schools paint it. And I believe that too. I was really on that bandwagon. Like, I felt guilty and I felt ashamed of being a US citizen. And I felt like there's times when I used to say this country should have never been. And like, I really felt that guilt. And
Maybe we might do some bonus content towards the end because on
anyway, I
that.
don't know how we got off on that tangent, but it was just, regarding our history and the history that's taught to us versus the truest history. And I'm not saying there aren't elements of truth in what we're being taught now, but it's not.
Oh
it's
no, there's
really
always an
actual,
element of
and it's a very curated truth.
there's always an element of truth in every lie, but
Right.
they're leaving a lot of stuff out.
Yeah,
Lot of stuff out.
The horror stories happened under Andrew Jackson.
Yes.
That's what really got bad for the Native people, which is sad.
People want to flex about. They actually see the Manifest Destiny as a flex, but it's like, do you not understand that is what created the indigenous genocide?
And
it
never got better for them and it was the government and military. And even my grandma, because I used to beg on cowboys, like, oh, cowboys were horrible, they did this. And my grandma, she's also part Native American, or she was, God rest her soul, but she told me, she goes, no, it wasn't the cowboys, it was the military that did all that. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. Hello. And then people want to trust the government. Well, look how this government's been, doing, look how great they looked out for, all these people,
This government, the U.S. government has been scuzzy from the start. And I'm not saying that the founding fathers didn't found an amazing document, because it absolutely is. But it was to prevent shit like this. And things got a little mucky at the way beginning, but at least
was it? Oh my God, correct me if I'm wrong, please. Because we were founded on a constitutional republic, but then we became America the corporation, and there is a story behind that. And feel free to interject if you know anything about it, either you or anyone in the audience who's listening to this. But
we're not talking about you fucking commie.
No. People that actually know, people who studied this, and they know.
We're talking about historians.
Yeah.
Not fucking CRT bullshit.
Yeah. It became America the corporation. I think that took place in somewhere in the late 1800s, like maybe 1870, if I'm not mistaken. And again, correct me if that's wrong. I don't know if that's the true date, but I think it was around there. And basically you could say that, if anything, you could probably say that's when we started getting taken over by, the globalist agenda, if you will, or the maybe the crown. I think the crown is connected with the corporation, if I believe.
It would not shock me, and especially since I gotta say, Democrats might not like this, but I honestly believe that they are the ones who basically turned the U.S. into a corporation. They want to blame that on the Republicans, the rich Republican North. I gotta say, well, if that was the case, why was a Democrat so dire to murder the Republican president who freed the slaves?
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand why back then those sorts of people were around. It was because it was commercially accepted. They were a product. It was just like buying a vacuum cleaner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Back then.
Yeah.
So it was part of commerce, but then in comes the 16th, I believe it's the 16th, in comes the 16th president, and he says, sorry, we're cutting that fucking supply. You can't do that. They're human too. You can't do this to them. And then while watching a play.
Maybe it had something to do with the Civil War.
Well, the Civil War was part of it was it was about the Confederacy, the Democratic South trying to break away from Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
The
Democrats, they wanted
Democrats
to keep their slaves.
Yes, it was about slavery. It was about keeping the olden ways consistent. So if anything,
and weren't they Democrats?
The South were Democrats. Yes.
Yeah.
So
oh my
so
God,
if anything, and that's when the KKK was started as well.
Jim Crow.
Yeah, the Jim Crow laws that dragged all the way until like the 20s and 20s and even parts of the 60s. It was still lingering. But no, it's like you want to talk about conservatives. Democrats were never the progressives. I'm sorry. They actually had a said that the Republic, they proudly said this too. It was up on boards and papers how the Republican Party was the party of the black. They used a different word, which I'm not going to say. But they're the party of the black folks, and Democrats are the party of the white folks, and they said that with pride.
Wow.
No, they were ostracized because the first Black Caucus was Republican. People that the first ones to have minorities in Congress were the Republicans. And the Democrats outright hated that. So you wonder why they have white guilt. Don't have white guilt, man. Have party guilt. Get off that freaking Democratic plantation. Anyways, we're going to continue here.
Make the world safe for peace and prosperity.
So the president also said yesterday that Canada wants to be involved in this, but they would have to pay their fair share. And some skeptics say that the immense cost and the actual...
You can cough it up, Canada. You're funded by the crown.
ability to create something to defend an entire continent isn't realistic. So what would you say to those critics?
Well, most of the constituent elements of the system have been demonstrated already in smaller scale around the world, and all of them have been proven in combat situations. And so this is really a scaling of capability and an integration capability. And the technology that's available today for networking, for edge and cloud computing, for bringing artificial intelligence to bear on the decision-making, All of that new technology is what's going to
Wow.
allow us to stitch these capabilities together and produce this system.
It's fascinating. And really quickly, final question to you. Do you really think that we can get this up and running within the President Trump's second term over the next 3 years?
Because of the start we have with the existing capabilities, we're going to be able to rapidly assemble a credible deterrent in a very short period of time. And in parallel, then work the future technologies that'll deal with threats as they evolve and keep the system relevant for generations.
What
Something tells me he's going to try to get this done before midterms.
Are you
Because
gonna pull cards on? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping. I'm
it-
jumping.
it's okay. Because because they know the Democrats are so salty and they don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh,
if
of
this
course not.
if this happens, out goes their income. GS, the that old bastard. Oh my god. And BG, no, not the Bee Gees, but BG, they are going to be going fucking ape shit. They're gonna lose their goddamn minds. They're going to go batshit crazy because of this. Because out goes their income.
Mm.
Three of Swords. There's gonna be like some level of heartbreak. There's gonna be
Upset.
upset. There's something
Disharmony. Yeah.
Five of Cups.
Mm. Oh wow.
10 of Crystals. Yes, this is to conserve money. It's going to cost a lot of money, but as they
Mhm.
say, you have to have money in order to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Like Five of Wands and Four of Crystals. Yes, Four of Crystals are pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
So
Protection.
yeah, this is
Being guarded.
Yeah, this is gonna cause a lot of upsetting because this is. I want to ask: is this the end? Is this to spark the end of the or the prevention of the NWO? Ace of Swords and Four of Cups. What do you think?
I don't know. You tell me what do you pick up from the cards as you look at them?
This is Oh, and I also got the Magician at the end. Yes, so what I'm seeing is that this is the dagger that's gonna end it all. He's trying to put in a dagger down them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, especially with this imagery, this is all going to be like lost. They're going to be in disarray for a little while. They're not going to understand what is going on, but then something magical is going to end up happening. Like for them here, for all of us. This is and oh, the Hierophant. The Hierophant, yes. So this is to protect us and have us more like an independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is good in general. Wow. This is I'm actually excited. What say you?
Sounds right. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a bad feeling. I know, like, my friend sent that scare video, and I don't know. I didn't really like. I can understand where people might assume that or be afraid of something like that, but I didn't really. I don't really get that from this.
Well, your intuition may be correct because this is going to be juicy here.
Mhm.
Watch you got so let's check this out. Okay. This is on Rumble. Golden Dome over America. The world falls if America falls. So
looking forward to that day. In the meantime, our military is getting the praise they need and they're getting beefed up. President Trump wants to congratulate them.
The real strength of our military doesn't come from its fighter jets. It really comes from our people. That's you. It comes from our people. You're unbelievable people. Just incredible. You're incredible. You're a very special group of people. So you do your duty for us, and as Commander-in-Chief, I will always do and fulfill my duty to you. That's what I'm doing.
That's what he's doing, and it's working. He announced, remember, the Golden Dome for America. You and your families are safe. Promise. Why do we say that? Because he dropped it at 5:28 p.m. If you go to 5:28 on the Intel board, that's what it says. You and your families are safe. Promise. Interesting, right? Releases a photo. President Trump announces Golden Dome for America. I'm sorry, a video of 1 minute and 2 seconds. He could have released it at 5:29 p.m. or 5:26 p.m., but no, 5:28, you and your families are safe. Safe from what? Safe from harm and missiles going into our country. He did it at 1:02. 1:02 on the board says Godspeed, and it has a bunch of numbers and more in green.
mm-hmm.
Really interesting. Listen to this about the Golden Dome.
In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack.
Foreign missile attack.
I am pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also.
Then that would have to mean that they would have to revoke all privileges and protections from the crown. They would have to convert. They would have to become the 52nd state. Or 53rd.
Well, yeah, and there's already talk about it that people are noticing that on their Google or something, like on their country code, like it's not their own country code. I believe it's country code. It could be something else, but it's referring to their country as part of the US and not a separate country, not separate from us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think Mexico might follow through?
I don't know.
But if not,
Possible.
Canada might. That's a good consolation prize.
So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world, and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the...
Pretty amazing. We got some more updates coming from the Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, and somebody that's in big trouble from prior military service. Big trouble. That's coming up. Wanted to remind you guys we're at amweknow.com. Amazing website. You can find all of our social media there and so much more. If you head to our website, you can actually hit the contact button if you want to send us an email or you want to send us a photo. Just hit that. I'll click it on there now. I'm clicking on contact. It says contact us. Put your name, your last name if you want, first name, email required, and click on send a photo. There it is, that little button right there. And it'll take you right.
Shut up.
So the Secretary of Defense released a memorandum for senior Pentagon leadership. Department review of U.S. military withdrawal from
May 20th this year.
Afghanistan in 2021. It's about time. On August 26, 2021, Biden's administration, he said president, but I don't like to say it, led a chaotic withdrawal of U.S. military and embassy officials from Afghanistan that led to the deaths of 13 U.S. service members and 170 civilians in a suicide bombing at the Kabul International Airport's Abbey Gate. President Trump and I have formally pledged full...
What's that?
I remember that Afghanistan. Remember that major disaster?
Yes.
Where
when he
all of our weapons, all of our major weapons were left there, and the Taliban confiscated them.
Oh shoot! I'm not sharing. Wait, am I sharing it?
And
of
course, a lot of Americans were hostages or didn't make it out there, and it was a major disaster. Major. It was horrible.
Trump had an clean exit plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
And all Biden had to do was agree to it and just take them out. But he wanted to have it under his own name, and he postponed the process and ergo betrayed the deal. Yeah. So no one's talking about that, though, are they?
Mm-mm.
Transparency for what transpired during our military withdrawal from Afghanistan. The Department of Defense has an obligation both to the American people and to the warfighters who sacrificed their youth in Afghanistan to get to the facts. This remains an important step toward regaining faith and trust with the American people and all those who wear the uniform, and is prudent based on the number of casualties and equipment lost during the execution of this withdrawal operation.
By the way, this is kind of another reason why I call him the hippie president, even though he may not be a hippie. This is to prevent future wars as well. He does not like war.
Yeah. Hippies used to believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Fighting for peace is like fucking for virginity. That's what they used to say.
Crazy, huh?
Now,
My, how far they've come from that. Oh my God. Did you see the video I sent you last night?
No.
It was on, somebody posted it on Instagram. I don't know if it was from TikTok, but there was protesters that were taken out of a courtroom. I think they were protesting Marco Rubio or something.
Mhm.
All the protesters were boomers. Like, I thought you'd get a kick out of it. Like, all of them were old. Like, they weren't even people. We're not talking about people in their 20s or 30s or even middle age. It was just elderlies. And a lot of people in the comment section are like, you better check on your parents, or, you might have to take them back to the rest home. Oh my God, it was so funny. I was just like, wow.
Oh my God! I mean, we might check that out in a future episode. That's funny as fuck.
It was just
man.
something that crossed my mind. Like, I know you had other things going on last night, so you probably didn't see it, but yeah, you would have gotten a kick out of that.
I'll check it out. Anyways,
last 3 months, the department has engaged in a review of this catastrophic event in our military's history. I have concluded that we need to conduct a comprehensive review to ensure that accountability for this event is met and that the complete picture is provided to the American people. To meet this imperative, I'm directing the Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs and Senior Advisor Sean Parnell to convene a special review panel for for the department, who will thoroughly examine previous investigations to include but not limited to findings of facts, sources, witnesses, and analyze the decision making that led to one of America's darkest and deadliest international moments. This team will ensure accountability to the American people and the war fighters of our great nation. Accountabilities here. Retired four-star Navy Admiral Robert P. Burke, aged 63, has been found guilty on federal charges, including bribery, conspiracy to commit bribery, acts affecting a personal financial interest, and concealment of material facts. The conviction stems from a scheme where Burke, while serving as a four-star admiral in 2021, awarded a $355,000 sole source contract to a New York-based company, NextJump, for workforce training in Italy and Spain. In exchange, he secured a post-retirement job with NextJump starting in October 2022 with a $500,000 annual salary and 100,000 stock options.
Another government worker.
Yeah, but I'm trying to
Or
see.
higher up. Not the little people.
Burke retired in August 2022 as commander of U.S. Naval Forces Europe and Africa, was the Navy's former vice chief of naval operations,
Blah, 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 shut up.
and Germany, and we've got Finland. Russia wants to very, very well. Commanders typically receive lighter penalties. This case marks him as the highest-ranking U.S. military officer ever convicted of a crime. They're not playing around. You know, when it comes to military and operations and all types of things happening around this earth, President Trump has been working on peace deals, of course, everywhere. He said the other day he just completed his 2-hour call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. You guys knew about that.
I think we should touch on that because that is like more of a peace deal thing.
Oh yeah.
So he is trying to maintain and bring peace. He doesn't because I mean, like, do you see how he's showing how he's so different than the others? They want to say that he's a freaking croon or whatever for the others, and he's not any different. It's like, dude, they would be using the military funding.
Didn't Hillary Clinton accept millions from the Saudi government to her Clinton Foundation?
I believe so.
Hypocrite.
Yep.
Millions. She got millions of dollars from the Saudis donated to her foundation.
Yeah.
She's full of debt. No, she's a hypocrite.
This is this is freaking incredible, man.
Yeah.
Oh baby.
Oh, Joyce. Oh wait. Oh. Well, it's been about an hour, so what say you? Should we call it a nice?
Well, I want to touch on a couple more things because I want to return a topic here that you may like, that you actually might like here, and I want your input on this.
Okay.
So, speaking of a gold dome.
Oh, I knew it had something to do with gold.
Yeah. Okay. Check this out. Okay. Hold on. What? Here we go.
Gold and silver, definitely. And Donald Trump's famous quote is, and I'm going to say to you here what it was. The gold standard, for example. So the gold standard, he talks about gold, and he knows, because he is, I believe, America, from the chart that I just saw, and I'm going to put the link here as well. He says gold card, for example, gold is soaring, for example, okay? And he mentions about he who holds the gold holds the cards, for example. And
that is exactly why he went to the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
is one of his quotes that he said a couple of times. But he started talking about this years ago. And his quote, he who has the gold makes the rules. He wouldn't say that if he didn't have all that gold. From what I look from the Swiss exports of gold coming in, for example, who's ordered the largest amount and who has the largest amount, it was America. They were number one.
Damn.
So that's probably why he said, he who has the gold makes the rules. I believe that's where it's come from. And that was where he said this during the April, this month. You know, the golden rule. He calls it the golden
Last
rule,
month.
and it's the gold standard. And he says, he who holds gold makes the rules.
And
But
that's
is
what he
that-
wants for us.
Is that real? We will find out, because for months they've been talking about Fort Knox, haven't they? We've been hearing about this Fort Knox, you know, I'm going to show you what's in Fort Knox and I'm going to get all the gold delivered to Fort Knox, but we still haven't seen it yet. We still haven't seen it yet. It still hasn't been publicized yet. So I can't wait to see that. But from what I saw, it was saying that America had the largest amount of gold delivered in January and hold the most amount of gold globally.
You want to know what this means? Are you there?
Mm-hmm. Listening.
This actually means if we have most of the gold, if not, if we have most of it, and it's here in the United States, we won't need the dollar, and the dollar will crash. Yes. However, and that's where the people are going to think that that's where the crash is going, but he's going to go back to the gold standard, because then Zelensky and all this war money is going to be basically worthless.
Whoa. Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to, because
Apparently.
he's stopped the printing of the money. He stopped the distribution of the money, saying that we're not getting a return on this. And so what I am seeing here is that if this is true and we go back to the gold standard, that currency that Ukraine has right now is going to be the equivalent of just toilet paper. They can literally wipe their ass with it, and it's just going to be just as valuable once Trump gets back onto the gold standard, if we have most of the gold. then that means 401ks are coming back. This digital, this credit nonsense is going to, the banks are going to crash. The
Mhm.
banks are, there's going to be a big bank crisis, and don't be surprised if every bank is going to grind to a halt and no one's going to be able to access their accounts. But that's because of the banks are going to be scared shitless because they're going to need to reset here.
For example. So we'll see, because obviously things can change. People can get their delivery of gold and then it changes the volume, doesn't it? But the governments have been ordering gold and silver by the tons, literally by the tons, not by coin or
He's a fascist. If this is what fascism is, give me some fascism.
Yeah, thumbs up.
ounce by ounce. They've been ordering it by the tons, because this, I believe, will end up being the new monetary system. And this is why, if it's a gram, I'm buying silver coins, for example.
All you commies can wipe your ass with your stupid fake paper. Jesus Christ.
Or silver bars or gold bars, for example. Start building your stacking plan. I do have a link here for building your wealth, for example, and
I'm not
so I just want to make sure that we're all focusing on building and stacking our wealth, for example, and let's stack together. Let's build this community together.
I agree.
They're building their own vault, so why should we not have the same thing as well? So download your stacking plan and start.
We don't care about this.
It doesn't matter. Appreciate what you've said there. So thank you so much. Yeah,
So when
1
do you
gram
think
of
all
gold.
this is going to happen about the regarding the crash? Like, you're talking about all this stuff happening. When do you foresee that?
It's not going to be anytime soon, because the thing is that one thing about one thing about Trump, one thing about 47 is that he loves to play 4-dimensional chess. He loves to say he's doing one thing, but in the background he's doing something else.
Mhm.
So this golden dome may be a project, but this is a smoke screen at the same time. I'm not saying that it's fake, but that's what he wants the MSM to make to focus on. So he wants them to focus. Oh my God, do you hear how like crazy batshit insane this motherfucker is, and how this that, and while in the back here, he's making backdoor deals with the Crown, with Canada, with fucking Saudi Arabia, and other foreign entities that are basically going to all go back to your trade with the gold standard.
And Saudi Arabia, someone pointed out, I think it was Bo, that they were always on the fence of becoming a part of BRICS. They didn't officially do it. However, it's interesting that they met with President Trump and then they made this deal with him, meaning that they're anti-BRICS. Because if we were under BRICS, that I used to think it was possibly a good thing, but I think that was part of the globalism and the
BRICS
NWO
may be the NWO currency. It may end up being that.
Yeah, so I
Um,
think, it's moving us away from that so we're independent of that.
yes, and so what I'm
Because
saying
BRICS
it
was taking us over, or they were going to take us over under the previous administration. That was the whole talk about it. Like
oh
China.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were Ukraine was talking about like enforcing and the US being part of the new world order. You got what I mean, does anybody let's look that up.
Yeah.
You got I remember that interview. Uh, hmm. Da, 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 da.
Anything
Hmm.
coming up?
It's not. I can't find that. I can't find that. I can't find that clip. To be honest,
What clip is it?
it was that Ukrainian. It was like 3-4 years ago. It was that. It was she was on some news network and she
Uh-huh.
said that we were going to have the new world order for the democratic countries, and this is exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to prevent that.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to and he's basically having us backed and collaborated with some of the most wealthy people, most wealthy countries and nations in the entire planet,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is absolutely amazing. So
Yeah.
he's trying to break us away from the matrix, basically.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, we don't want to be that part of that.
No, this was founded as an independent nation.
Yeah.
So I want to add. I actually want to see this. Yeah, there's one last. Uh, hmm. Just so this is I want you to I want to see, especially since with negotiation with royals in the works. That's the third part of. So check this. Check this out here. This is ABC News. Um, uh-huh.
So I don't mean to distract you, but I'm curious. When you say it's not happening soon, what time frame do you estimate that'll all take place?
Well, he's setting up the negotiations with Saudi Arabia. Well, in regards to what are you asking?
Well, you're talking about, you know, the dollar being worthless, or the, you know, the banks crashing and people not being able to get in. Like, when do you foresee all that?
That's gonna happen I have a sense it's gonna be in a couple, like 2-3 years.
Okay.
Because this is gonna be like a slow process, because he doesn't want things to just like happen overnight.
Right.
He one, because then that's gonna cause a lot of chaos, one, and two, he's trying his best to set the deals up so that way everything is in a smooth transition. And thankfully, this is one thing that I will say here: the media and the press are not up his ass as much as they were his first term a few years ago.
Well, I think you got him by the balls.
That too. I mean,
Yeah.
Cummy. Yeah,
Cummy. Yeah.
Jim Cummy. He's fucking, yeah.
Well, because every time they attempt to smear him or anyone in his campaign, they get called out right away, and just they end up looking like the biggest idiots and freaks and clowns that they are.
Yeah. And it backfires on them every time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're just kind of starting to cave now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I gotta get going because I gotta do something personal real quick. So I'm gonna log
Okay.
off on here, but continue to talk if you like.
All right.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you.
Absolutely. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
Friday.
Mwah. Much love.
All right. Well, we'll finish this off here. Now, keep in mind that she just said that there is some investment in defense forces, and we were talking about the Golden Dome just earlier. So we pretty much got the backing of Elon Musk, Trump, I should say, not we. And when I said we, I mean the United States. The United States has the backing of Elon Musk and Saudi Arabia. And what did I say? These people have a lot of gold, a lot of money, a lot of wealth, economic independence. By the way, she does look like a Karen. So they're also investing in healthcare by the sounds of it. Is that what you said? $5.8 billion investment in healthcare. Where are you, commies and you socialies? Huh? We need free healthcare. Oh, he's investing in it. Jeez. By the way, Michigan is the home state of one of the biggest like automotive capitals on the planet. And what kind, so if there are tons of stuff, infrastructure going back, especially to Michigan, that means he's trying to bring back the blue collar jobs, which is good. He's going to what? He's going to try to get Saudi Arabia to invest $1 trillion in the US. Dude, everything is coming back. Rhino pieces of shit like the Bushes, yes. By the way, Reagan, what the fuck is the matter with you for having HW as your vice, you dumbass? Qatar! Qatar! Not Qatar. Qatar. Has nobody ever watched MotoGP? Now, I don't think if people notice this, but I said this years and years ago, like in 2015, 2016, I believe. I was taking a government class, and initially I did not know what to think when Trump got elected the first time. However, I'm going to give you guys some bonus content and see and understand what Trump is. He's not a Republican. he is a lot more than that. Let me so check this out. Check this out here. He is arguably the first Federalist president since John Adams, the second president ever. For like 250 years, we haven't had anything like this. Well, besides his first term. Federalism is a system of government in which the state and national government share powers. The framers used federalism to secure the Constitution. Sounds about what he's trying to do, right? The Constitution assigns certain powers to the national government. These are delegated powers. Powers kept by the states are reserved powers. Powers delegated national government, state government, but also let's check some other stuff regarding federalism. Okay, I just had to share this. It's a lot more nuanced. It takes both sides. See, powers reserved to the states, delegated. So basically, private and public, almost like small government and big government. It's federalism. So with the shared powers, provide their public welfare, administer criminal justice. Yes. Charter banks, raise taxes, borrow money, but he's trying to do something a lot better than that. So maybe he isn't a federalist after all, or that's just some skewed chart. Well, maybe he implies some federalism. Okay, I put myself on the spotlight. Oh, you're admitting that he's doing all this. Yeah, to a degree he is. But let's just say we're on the precipice of a golden age. All right. Well, thank you so very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.